it's awkward also because I feel like Steve Nash and KD had a type of relationship that was more outside of just the business aspect and friendship. I mean, he wanted he requested to have Steve Nash as a coach.
On today's Wind Up Wednesday edition of the Odd Coaches Podcast, Dr. Adams and Coach Francis review NBA offseason news and notes, including Chet Holmgren's injury, as well as Los Angeles Lakers roster moves. In addition, the OCP previews the WNBA Conference semifinals. Are we headed to a Las Vegas Aces versus Chicago Sky final? Welcome to today's show. The Odd Coaches Podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and my partner is on assignment, but have no fear, Following is here. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce my guest co-host for tonight's Wind Up Wednesday edition, Following Campbell. Following, how are you this evening, sir?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Coach, man. It's a blessing to be here, man. I'm just happy, and let's get to it, man.
All right, man. So segment one, he's back, part one. Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant is staying in Brooklyn. And here's the quote from the article, and yes, you got show notes. Coach Steve Nash and I, along with the governors, Joe Tsai and Claire Wu Tsai, met with Kevin Durant and his agent, and we have agreed to move forward in our partnership. Durant initially asked for a trade, but he didn't get a trade. So what do you think, man? You're a former player. You have dealt with management in all kinds of levels, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But what do you think about this Kevin Durant situation? Man, I'd like to hear from you.
It's difficult, man. When you're dealing with a guy of his caliber, it's really difficult. But at the end of the day, it's a business, but it's awkward also because I feel like Steve Nash and KD had a type of relationship that was more outside of just, the business aspect and friendship. I mean, he wanted, he requested to have Steve Nash as a coach, and now demanding that, he leave is awkward. You know what I mean? So that friendship obviously is torn apart. But at the end of the day, it's like, he agreed to come back, so now he has to, it's like I said, it's a business. So you put that friendship away, you just go out there and you take care of business and do your job. I really like the fact that he's coming back. Kyrie's going to do another year. You add Ben Simmons to that. Hey, look, I understand all this stuff off the court is stuff that you have to deal with as the owner and the GM. But as the coach, and you kept Steve Nash as your coach, you got to trust and believe that, look, he's going to handle it. He's going to have to be able to manage all those egos and get those guys to where they need to be. And that's a championship. It's nothing less.
So while I got you here, you mentioned Kyrie. Yeah. Who is one of the most talented players I have ever seen in my life. But my goodness, let's just say he's a challenging personality. You also have Ben Simmons, who, if Mike was here, would say, stop telling me he's a point guard because I don't know what point he's guarding, but he ain't never been no point guard. That's my tag team partner talking. You've got Kevin Durant, who is a legend. He is a legendary player. He can get it done. So in theory, you should be able to compete top three spots in the Eastern Conference and battle for that. But because you got to worry about all types of other stuff, man, how would you do that in terms of if you're Steve Nash or Sean Marks with the Nets? Because yes, you pick this. How are you going to deal with that, man?
So if I'm Steve, I focus on Ben. I focus on getting Ben's mind right, because you can plug and play Kyrie and KD. They can fit in any system and be fine. So now, how do I get the best out of Ben Simmons? How do I make him feel comfortable? Because you're gonna need him. It's sad, like you're going to need him. You know what I mean? I need Ben to average a triple double. If I'm Steve, I need a triple double from him. I need him to be able to guard the best player on the perimeter. Plain and simple. So I focus on him, put him in the right situation, put him in, if it has to be maybe pick and roll with KD, or have him work the short corner. But that's my focus, because I know KD is going to be KD. He can score on the ball, with the ball. He can score without the ball. That's not my focus. Kyrie is also. You know what I mean? Like, those guys are going to take care of business. Now, I got to make sure Ben is giving me 10, 8, 8. Like, I'm fine with that. And whether it's, getting rebounds, whether it's, in transition, a half-court set is going to be a little different. I said, we'll put him in a short corner. We'll have him run the pick and roll and have him going downhill. But as far as anything else, you got to focus on Ben, and then the pieces around him will come.
Okay. All right. So with that, next topic, should he have been playing? Oklahoma City Thunder rookie Chet Holmgren will miss the entire season because of a Lisfranc injury on his right foot. The OCP medical correspondent, Miss Tamisha Adams, my wife went to Towson and studied this. She said, and I'm going to paraphrase her, Lisfranc injury? Ooh, that's not good.
Never heard of it,
that's at a bad place in the foot. Let it go. Just let it heal, because it's at a bad spot. So that's good enough for me. And in the history of this show, she's been right 95% of the time. So I'm going to go with that. Now, he suffered the injury in a pro-am, so it's covered with his contract. And he was defending LeBron on the fast break. I don't know if you've seen the play, but it was a pretty nondescript play. So now the commentators come out. Man, why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? On the flip side, you're mad at Anthony Davis for not playing. He should be working on this game. So you can't win. You are in a unique position talking to your coach, who was, yes, to your detriment at times, as you would tell me, overprotective of you playing. In the preseason, fans, when Fowler played for me, we used to play about 5 scrimmages. In the first scrimmage, he'd play about 2 quarters and come out, and he's done for the day. Hey, coach, I can't get back in. No. And then we would play a little bit better competition, and he'd play maybe 3 quarters. And then as we get closer to the season, if you get him out for a jump shot, that might be good too. In the off season, very protective. We didn't like to play outside a lot on these bad courts and these bad tournaments. A lot of it was scripted instruction. So this is unique that I'm having this conversation with you. How do you feel about Chet playing, his injury, and know that he's not the only person to get injured, playing basketball? So what do you think, sir?
I had this conversation with in a group chat, and he's a 19-year-old kid. You can't tell. Like, I would rather have him constantly in the gym and have to tell him to get out than have a kid that never goes to the gym during the summer and off season and force him, like, be on top of him and tell him to continuously get in the gym. So he was in a charity game where you got people who sat out the day before to come and watch these NBA players play. And I watched the game. The game was no defense being played. You know what I mean? It was guys just coming down, jacking up, Tatum jacking up threes, Paolo going against, DeJounte, who they had there, they're talking on Twitter. You know what I mean? It was good to see them shake it out. Like, this was like a celebrity charity type of game. So yes, he got hurt on a freakish situation. Like, I saw the play. Like, I didn't see him step on LeBron's foot. I don't know what happened. This could have happened in a 5-on-5 under Rich. You know what I mean?
Paige Beckers is out for the season at UConn.
In a close, no cameras around. You know what I mean? So this is, I just like the fact that he was in the gym, he's working out. Yes, again, it was a freakish accident. You could say, oh, he shouldn't have been playing. The gym was sold out. Not even so. When I say sold out, it was packed. Mm-hmm. And you had people who come to these games who want to see these NBA guys because they might not be able to go to
I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And back in the day, they used to do this stuff all the time. And they don't do it as much. And yes, totally.
I remember Kobe, you know what I mean, at the Rucker Park. I remember KD at the Rucker. Like these games, people want to come see. And yes, if anything, it was a game at the Drew League where LeBron played and DeRozan. That game was more physical than this game. And only because there was no NBA guys on the other side. So yeah, they felt like they had something to prove. But it was a physical game. It was a great game to watch. Like Chet went out there. He's a 19-year-old kid. He played. Like I love the fact that he was out there on the court working out. Like that's what I want to see as a GM. Now, obviously, yes, you don't want your number 2 pick to get hurt. But again, he's out there. He's playing basketball. I don't have to force him to be in the gym. So the fact that he was doing this. Hey, look, it happens. You know what I mean? It's just every time you step on a basketball court, you risk getting hurt. Whether it's training or whether it's playing 5-on-5, it's a risk.
All right. So now, put your GM hat on. Mm-hmm. Would you consider tanking if you're Oklahoma City? So the NBA considers the Pro-Am a sanctioned event, meaning Holmgren's future earnings will not be in jeopardy if he does not fully recover. He is expected to make a full recovery. I did ask the medical correspondent of CKA and instantly said, yeah, totally. But please take the time to do the rehab, and he should be fine. The Thunder will receive an insurance reimbursement of 80% of Holmgren's per game salary, which is about $4 million, after he misses 41 games this upcoming season. So they're going to have $4 million at the All-Star break. They can make some moves. Okay? The injury won't prompt the Thunder to give up and tank, according to Sam Presti, though. But you would say, I'm done. Is that correct, sir?
I mean, they're not a playoff contending team without him. So whether they're trying to tank or not, it's going to look like it. You know, like, I don't know what more. I mean, they have young pieces, and they look good. But I thought Chet, and I didn't think Chet was going to lead into a playoff this year, but as he continues to grow, that team can be better. So why not, try to get a high draft pick? I mean, it's going to be there. You know what I mean? Whether they're competing or not. Just don't make it look like you're giving games away. But I think without missing Chet, it's a big hit for that team. They were going to bring some excitement. We might have seen some games on ESPN this year. But I mean, if I'm the GM, it's another lottery pick this year. Whether I'm trying to tank or not. So
okay. And fans, we do want to educate you. This is not new. Ben Simmons went number 1 in 2016, missed the next season with a foot injury. Blake Griffin was the top pick in 2009, had to sit while recovering from a knee injury. Of course, we all know about Greg Oden. Joel Embiid missed the first 2 seasons with foot issues, and I think he's recovered pretty well. Nerlens Noel shouldn't have been the 6th pick, but he was, and he missed the first season with a knee problem. Michael Porter Jr. is the 14th pick of the 2018 season, and he missed it with a back injury. Nick Collison, who played for the Thunder, was the 12th pick in 2003, and he was unable to play. David Robinson missed the first, I think, year or 2 serving in the Navy. So, again, this is not new. And I do want to thank you for that insight. And before we close, I'd be remiss, fans, if I didn't mention He's Back Part 2. Miami forward, Udonis Haslem, coming back for a 20th season. The 42-year-old made the announcement at his basketball camp. This guy is signing a 1-year deal worth $2.9 million. He joins a trifecta of legends. Kobe, Bean Bryant, and Dirk Nowitzki. They all played for the same team more than 20 years. So you got Kobe and the Lakers, Dirk and the Mavericks, and Udonis Haslem and the Miami Heat. He is a 3-time world champion. The last season, he averaged 2.5 points, 1.9 rebound in 13 games, but he brings a lot of leadership and whatever. Any thoughts to that before we close the segment, sir?
He joins great company, but if we wanted to bring Udonis, we could have brought him on the coaching staff. I get it. I love it. You know what I mean? I understand what Pat's doing. But we got a lot of young guys that can fill that position. And I just, like I said, if you want to bring him back, you want him to be around, but you can make a role for him as a coach. So I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. He's a vet. We respect it. But again, you know what I mean? That one spot he's holding, you know, to cheer on his guys. A young boy can be, you know, playing and you know, making a name for himself.
All right, and with that, fans, we'll be right back after this short message.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project Academic Monitoring Service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
All right. Welcome back, fans, to the Odd Coaches podcast. And in segment 2, I get to talk to my guest host about a team that Coach Francis likes. So that's twice this week. Follower gets to sit in for Coach Francis on his favorite team. So, Following, does this move make a difference? The Los Angeles Lakers have finalized a trade that sends Taylor Horton Tucker, THT, and Stanley Johnson to the Utah Jazz in exchange for Patrick Beverley. No picks will be involved from either team. Is this a good trade? And 2, what does this mean for Russell Westbrook? You have the floor, sir.
If it's a good trade, it doesn't. I don't think it pushes the envelope. I don't think this is anything that, you know, it's like, oh, this gets them over the hump. Getting Patrick Beverley's cool, but I really don't see how this works with him and Westbrook. I don't even know what their relationship is like. We've seen him get into it multiple times. I mean, isn't he the one that clipped Westbrook's knee?
Years and years ago.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I don't know how that relationship is. And I can't have them both on the court. Yes, you know, Beverley can hit a couple shots, but it just doesn't look good on the court. Like that's not a championship contending lineup, if you ask me. So I'm interested to see what happens with Westbrook. I'm interested to see, you know, if they keep him, which they might have to do. And Ham has a lot of work to do over there in LA. I'll leave it at that.
You got to trade Westbrook. You can't keep this.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm interested to see what happens. But the thing is, how do you trade him with the money he's getting?
I know.
And then it's like everybody, like you send him to Utah. I don't know. You send him to OKC. Like, where do you send him? It's going to be interesting.
It is a mess. And the question I ask, are the Lakers, as they are currently constructed, a top 6 team? So they're not in the play-in, or are they straight 7 to 10 and play-in type team?
They're a play-in team. If we want to look at the Western Conference, I don't see them cracking that top 6. I mean, we got Phoenix, we got Memphis, we got Golden State. Dallas will be right back. Denver will be stronger. Minnesota will be good. Clippers. So, I mean, I just named 6, 7.
Off the top with no analysis. No,
yeah.
We just thinking out loud.
So how do with this current roster, there'll be maybe 7 or 8, and I'm only saying that with a healthy AD and a healthy LeBron because I can never bet against LeBron. That's it.
Well, let's see if this gives you more insight and makes you think another way. Mm-hmm. According to media reports, Dennis Schroeder could return to the Lakers. And the first go around wasn't that good. He did average 15 and 5, but he only shot 33% from 3. But he's an unsigned free agent. Could that also be the move to push the Lakers up to the guaranteed playoff slot with a Dennis Schroeder reunion?
I mean, I don't know what we're doing here. I mean, I get it. We got to fill the roster. But I mean, LeBron, like this is not the Cavaliers like LeBron. You know what I mean? He's towards the end of his career. Like, yes, he can still carry a team, but we're asking him to do too much. And then we add Dennis Schroeder. I mean, like I said, now we're just filling in the roster, and I understand. You know what I mean? He's going to bring energy. I mean,
is that where we are now?
I get it. Like, he's an energy guy, and you know, we got to have 12 guys on the roster. So I get why they're signing him.
All right, finally, fans, and again, shout out to my partner for his love affair with Nikola Jokic. He doesn't, but the Joker helped Serbia beat Giannis Antetokounmpo in Greece in the clash of back-to-back MVPs in the FIBA World Cup qualifier. So again, following as somebody who has played in Europe, any thoughts on Jokic, Giannis, and the European influx that is coming to the league, man? You are uniquely qualified as somebody who's seen these people up close and personal.
I love, first of all, to talk about, I saw that, I didn't see the game. I saw a lot of highlights. But just to see those guys battle out for their country, first of all, I wish Giannis was playing with the Nigerian national team just because of, my heritage. And I know he has Nigerian, heritage also, but, he grew up in Greece. I understand. But to see them play that hard for their national team and to compete like they were competing for a championship, that meant a lot. And they were battling out, you know what I mean? Like, you saw they were in Belgrade, and the stadium was full, it was packed. And if you haven't been to a European basketball game, it's exciting. It's not just fans sitting in the stands watching. No, they're engaged. They're yelling at you. They're cursing you out. Sometimes throwing things on the courts. You know what I mean? I've been in situations where I've been spat at. I've been thrown, like pennies and coins have been thrown. So the level of intensity out there is much different than it is in the States. So to see those two battle it out, I mean, it was awesome, man. But I mean, a Joker got the best of him, and he's skilled, man. That's what most of these European basketball players are just like. There's a lot of athleticism in the States, but if you take the skill, like the skill set of most of the Europeans, you know what I mean? Besides Giannis, I mean, he's a little different, but most of the guys are just skilled, man, and that's what they bring to the NBA, and that's what makes them, do well in the NBA. Like, they might not be the most athletic, but they know how to put the ball in the basket. They know how to create. They see the game differently than we do. And I mean, Joker's one of those guys, man. He's special, man.
So while I got you, and this is not even, in the show notes, but you mentioned skill often. Mm-hmm. Skill. And, when you played for me, we always open practice with the same drill, 12-minute offense, because we don't want to turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. And it's about the skill set, the strong side, the weak side, jab step. Again, protecting the basketball and how they're taught skill set. And we kind of in the States rely on athleticism. What would you say right now? And you're a high school assistant coach volunteering. You've got a son of that age. Any quick advice while we while we got here to close this segment, that you would tell young players in terms of what you saw when you played in Europe and watched their development versus what you see now in your current role? I'm always curious about that. The floor is yours.
I would tell the kids to work on the fundamentals. Everybody wants to, try to touch the rim. You know what I mean? Try to hit the backboard, do all these things. And yes, athleticism plays a big part in it. But you got to be able to dribble the ball. You got to be able to get past your defender. You got to be able to handle pressure. You got to be able to shoot. Like, these little things will separate you from everybody else. Because what do you do when you meet somebody that's just as athletic as you? You know what I mean? That moves just as fast as you. Now it's about being shifty. You know what I mean? It's about being able to shoot, elevate, shoot, get to your spot, shoot. You know what I mean? Or and to get to your spot, you have to be able to handle the ball. So the skill development plays a huge part in a kid's development. Because again, you don't know later on if that kid's going to be athletic, if he's going to be able to dunk. You don't know what he's going to be able to do. But if you have a kid that can shoot the ball, that can dribble, that can handle pressure, that has a basketball IQ, you put him in situations where there's a trap here, to retreat, or you can split the deep. Like, little things like that while they're training goes a long way. So the skill development is huge for a young kid growing up. And it's hard. It's not easy. It takes work. Doing all these dribbling drills, it's not easy. Your arms are going to be tired. Mentally, you're going to be tired. Just going into the gym and shooting 500 shots right in front of the rim. That's boring. It's boring, but it goes a long way. These little things, man, that help you fundamentally will help you become a better basketball player.
Yes, and fans, to add to this point, I started working with Fowler from the sophomore to his junior year, and he actually played point guard. And then when he was a senior, he played two guard. And then when he got to college, he played small forward because there was too much of an emphasis. I think there's too much of an emphasis on a position as opposed to just basketball. And can you adapt? And what does each team that you play for need you to do at whatever given moment? And can you do that? And I think you actually played some forward as well when you were in college. And finally, on my part, and I'll give you a chance. Go ahead.
A quick question about that. So I had a conversation with Kim English, who's the coach at George Mason now.
Who's doing a great job, and shout out to Kim. We'd love to have you on the show.
It'd be awesome. And he told me the story that Coach L told him. And I remember vividly, like, having this conversation with Coach L as a freshman. And you know about my defense and my effort that I used to get. Hey, exactly. You see the face. I hope you show that. So I remember. So this is what happened. So my freshman year, I was coming off the bench. We had other freshmen that was playing. And I remember as the season went on, I went to Coach L. I said, look, can we have a meeting? I want to talk to you about, just getting more playing time. And he called me Shaq. You know what I mean? That was my nickname. He said, Shaq, look, you're playing well. We just need you to give more effort on defense. Like, that's all we need from you. So I nod my head. Okay, leave the office. 4 or 5 games go by, nothing changed. Like, I didn't get more playing time. Like, it was the same. So I asked Coach L again, can we have another meet? Like, can I talk to you about, situation I'm in? We go in. I said, Coach, how can I get more playing time? I feel like, I'm out there. And he said the same thing. Shaq, I need you to give more effort on defense. And my initial reaction was, oh, you were serious? Like, I thought he was joking. Like, but then after that, it's like, all right, look, you know what? He's serious about it. Next practice, everything shifted. And from that, my sophomore year, I became a starter. And but it showed, like, look, if you don't give that effort on defense and you don't come out there and play, you're not going to play. You're not going to play for him. You're not going to play, man.
Yes. And, to add to that, one of the things that I have always said about you, I said it in the book, and we said it privately, is your willingness to accept criticism. And I remember having those conversations with you to say, look, man, loose ball, all of that. And we still joke about the single digits of charges you've taken in your entire career. But fans, one of the things Fowler didn't do that now he is like the biggest proponent of, and it still makes me laugh, is he didn't lift weights because of old wives' tales about your jump shot and this, that, and the other. So from the summer of his junior to senior year, he really dedicated to the weight room because he used to shoot 2 free throws when he got fouled as a junior. That means he's not finishing through the play. And there was a game we played against a local rival that he went to the basket, got fouled, and was strong enough to finish the play. In a crowd full of people, he turns to me, and in many games we had side jokes, side moments, and he held up his fist, tapped his arm, and said, "Weight room." So, in other words, although it took 18 months for him to embrace it, he embraced it, and it got better. And the same thing with Coach L. I'm probably the only person that doesn't shack him all the time, and that's a running joke. But outstanding, appreciate it. And with that, we'll take a quick break because we haven't done this, man. I mean, this is my player. We talk all. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student-athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Oh, welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast, and in segment 3, it is all WNBA, and we are in the playoffs. And hey, we had an upset in the first game. The Seattle Storm came into Vegas and shocked the Aces with a win. So it shifts back to Seattle in terms of the game. So game 2, we played tonight because this will air on Wednesday. Fowler, any thoughts about the Aces and the Storm? Because the OCP loves the Aces, and we thought they're going to win, and we still think they're going to win the series. But any thoughts from you, sir?
I really do like the Aces team. Just seeing the game, the first game, I saw how AJ Wilson played, and she had an off night. But I just feel like the Aces have a lot of firepower offensively. But Storm, I mean, obviously they won a championship. They have Sue, they have Stewie, they have Jules. So they have a strong team. They defend well. So it's going to be an interesting series. And obviously, I mean, if Storm win game 2, the series will be over. But I do believe AJ will come back stronger. I can't see her have another bad game like she did game 1. And, I mean, the way Kelsey played and Chelsea Gray, I mean, it's a lot of firepower. And for them to hold the Aces to 73 points was impressive, game 1. So game 2 is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see it.
All right. And 2, the Chicago Sky are playing the Connecticut Sun. Game is going on while we are taping. Throughout the year, Coach Franchise has said the Chicago Sky, they've gone on an incredible run, and we anticipate the Aces and Chicago Sky final. Would you agree with us or disagree in terms of the prediction that the Sky will beat the Sun in this series?
It's going to be tough, man. That Connecticut Sun team is pretty good. I mean, you got Alyssa, you got John Quill, you got the other big You got Courtney Williams, the guard. I mean, the team is strong. The Sun team is strong. But then Chicago, with the experience that they had with Quigley, Candace, Vandersloot. I mean, it's going to be tough, and obviously they won the championship last year. So it's going to be a great matchup, and I can actually see this going 5 games, only because both teams are so strong, and I mean they got the vets on there. Like I said, Alyssa is awesome. You know what I mean? Just the way she can get to the basket and score. John Quill, a former MVP. So you got a good team. 2 good teams going. So I'm interested to see how this series goes.
Well, I'm just glad that all of the games can be easily found on ESPN or ESPN2. Most of the games will be on ESPN2, but at least we can find them. So we will be paying attention. And as we close out, congratulations are in order. Rhyne Howard has been named Rookie of the Year by the WNBA. She received 53 of 56 votes. And she has hooped all year. Check these numbers out: 16 points, 4.5 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.6 steals in 31 minutes, starting 34 games. She led all rookies in points, assists, steals, and minutes per game. She was 3rd in the league in 3-pointers made with 85. So that was a good pickup for the number 1 pick.
You know what's crazy, Coach? I remember watching her at Kentucky, and I thought she could boogie. I thought she was good, and then I think I saw her in the last game in the tournament, and she didn't play well. So I talked to a good friend of mine who's an agent, and was like, "Is she really that good?" Like, I didn't see the effort that she was putting in in that last game, and when I saw that she was drafted number 1, I'm like, this is interesting. Like, how is this going to go? But going to that, I mean, the W is a totally different ballgame. You know what I mean? The style of play is totally different, and it fits her style perfectly. So, I mean, she's going to be special in the W. She's going to be special.
Yes, indeed. So, finally, fans, Coach of the Year. It's kind of odd that, they took a L a day, but can't win them all. Becky Hammon was named 2022 WNBA Coach of the Year, making her the first former WNBA player to win the award. And she did it in her debut season. She earned 27 of 56 votes. Tanisha Wright of the Dream was 2nd. The Sky's James Wade was 3rd. She's got the number 1 seed Aces, 26-10 regular season. They won the conference Commissioner's Cup. So job well done to Coach Hammon. Any thoughts before we close this out to Coach?
No, I thought Becky was great. She got those girls. I mean, AJ's took her game to another level. She has Kelsey playing well. Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray. Like she's done, and she has the number 1 seeded team in the W. Now I don't know if they're going to win the championship, but they definitely have all the pieces to do it. And I mean, she's a great coach, so she's definitely deserving of the Coach of the Year.
Absolutely. So fans, this has been a treat for me. Following stepped in as he has done time after time in my life. Coach Francis had some assignments to do and some different things. And I asked Following if he could step in, and he stepped right in, and he done a tremendous job. So Shaq, thank you, sir, for stepping in and helping me out.
Man, thanks for having me, man. It's always fun talking sports with you, man. I love it, man. So anytime, man, I need to be on here and we can talk sports and we can get at it. I enjoy it, man. So appreciate you having me, Coach.
And it does help that we tape at 8 at night as opposed to 8 in the morning, but that's a side joke for all of us. So on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis and Following Campbell, I am Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach Franchize. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.